Welcome back to Happiness by Habit. Today we are reporting from the amazing Austin in the Lone Star Festival, and I am here with two very special guests. I have Billie Cain and Jacqueline Cain. Welcome to the show.
Welcome. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. We were neighbors in the event inside, and they have a really, really cool product to show us. But their company is Radical Empathy Education Foundation. Please tell us a little bit about the company. What do you guys do?
We are attempting to teach people about difficult and complex psychiatric issues within a safe space, within VR, where you can explore the situation that you don't want to be in without being endangered, and you can get a firsthand viewpoint from someone who has been through it, and it will show you and show your children without traumatizing anyone. It's not graphic or sexual or violent. It doesn't include drugs or alcohol, because people often will say, my child would never drink a beer, or my child would never run away from home. And all of the prior victims, their parents thought the same thing.
This is such a very touching topic. I mean, actually, I experienced the VR solution yesterday. They showed me, and I was like, at the end of the experience, I was really like in shock for what I saw. And as they described it, it was something very light, like it was a story put together in a very light way. The reality is that the purpose of these tools is that they can use VR to give out a message that is very critical to be told to prevent abuse. So if you want, Billie, can you elaborate a little bit more about the message and the purpose of your business?
Sure. So it turns out that we found out that our kids were being groomed by a sex trafficker. We didn't even really understand what grooming was. So when we went to the police tried to explain it, and then we went out and tried to find materials and tried to find educational materials, and there really wasn't anything that was just jumping out at you.
If I could just
go right
add
ahead.
one sentence here, which is that grooming is someone using your feelings against you. Whether if it's your boyfriend and he's doing it for control, that's one thing. If it is someone doing it for profit, using your feelings against you for profit, that is human trafficking, and that's the only difference between domestic violence situations and a trafficking situation. The trafficker is profiting, where the husband may just have his own issues that he is taking out on the wife.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to learn about all of this stuff, but we couldn't find any good educational materials that made sense to us, and we thought that would really help our kids. So we've been working inside of the interactive industry since Super Nintendo days, and we decided that we were going to use create a virtual reality experience to put people in the shoes of victims so you can understand the psychological manipulation. Apparently, that is the thing that no one in this field really understands, is how does somebody become tricked by somebody else psychologically so that they will do what somebody else tells them how to do? How do they get in a situation where they're being coerced? And that's what this VR experience is supposed to do, is show you exactly how that can happen to anybody through no fault of their own, just by using the internet or using social media. And I think you had a pretty strong reaction to it.
Oh, literally, my stomach was turning. I was so upset when I saw the video. And you guys were telling me that that's a very light story. It's not even like going deep into what really happens,
right? Which
I think really enforces the need of really trying to get the message out there, because our kids, your kids, my kids, everybody's in risk. We need to protect them and protect them via education. That's
right. And one of the things that we learned about this field is a lot of times people come to a classroom and they might do a PowerPoint, or they might have handouts to give to people. And the experience, this is the script for the experience.
Let's tell a little bit about the experience, what it is, because I think it's...
Yeah, I mean, do you want to talk about it? Do you want me to do it?
Within the VR headset, first off, everything that could make you fail at this has already been designed out. You make your decisions by looking at things. You don't have to like video games or be interested in them or technology. It's as easy for a 4-year-old as it is for a 95-year-old. And it walks you through the story of a 14-year-old that is currently being sex trafficked. And she just walks around, and she doesn't say how she feels about being sex trafficked. she talks about the items that are within her environment.
To control her.
Yes, items, some of them are to control her, some of them are just confusing to her. For instance, she mentions about her lipstick that when I was 12, I thought it would make me feel glamorous and I was so excited to wear it. But now that I have to wear it to look older or younger for other men, I feel very confused. And by her just telling you that she's confused, she's not telling you how to think. And then you get to think about, well, how would I feel in that situation? And thereby it's a choose your own adventure. So you can do every single clue if you are able, or if it upsets you, you can either not go back to that item or take it off your head immediately. It is meant to be the most gentle way of teaching you about a horrifying human tragedy.
And I can tell you from my perspective as a user, yesterday, it's a very different story told from the point of view of you being the person. Like that is, I think, the key of success for first experience.
You are getting first person perspective on a problem that you hopefully will never have.
And let's make that happen. Let's make sure. Let's create the education and the awareness on everybody, because this is very important. It can happen to anybody. In this case, this girl say that her parents were going through a divorce, and she was getting a lot of fights with her mom. So she met this gentleman on the internet, and she kind of
he was giving her attention.
Absolutely, giving her attention.
At the beginning, the attention is often extreme and positive. Like, it's called love bombing, and they'll buy expensive gifts. They'll treat you like a queen until it's time they decide to profit from you. You know, it is the only people that are potential victims are people with feelings. So if you know anyone with feelings,
hello, everybody,
that could possibly be used against you, you are a potential victim. And if you don't realize that, you're 10 times as potential for a victim.
Yep.
And I think they take advantage of the feelings of most teenagers at that age. They are so confused. They want to do things. Their parents don't let them do it because we want to protect them. But they, on the other hand, they want to kind of do their own thing, do it anyways, and they don't measure the risk. But the risk is real. The risk is out there, and we need to be aware, and we need to tell the story. Protect our kids, please, because it's very...
If you think about it, there are so many parents that just buy a phone and they give the phone to their kid, and they do not have any training whatsoever. The adult doesn't, and they are certainly not training the child to be aware of what's going on. That kid is exposed to pornography almost instantly. There's no safeguards for that kind of stuff, not to mention the fact that once you've given the kid the access to get texts or get emails or access the internet, there is no telling what's going on. The way that we describe this is like, most people think, oh, I want to give my kid access to the internet. Well, yeah, you've done that. But what you've really done is you've given the internet access to your child. And that is just like leaving your kid in the middle of a freeway and you're not even watching. Because you have no idea what that kid is doing.
I love that metaphor because it's really that strong, like is that real? That's a good metaphor.
Yeah, I mean, that kid has the phone in their pocket, but what is really going on? It's like you're not watching your kid. You don't know what that kid is doing. You don't know what they're doing on the internet. And people are getting texts and sex and stuff from bots, chat bots, constant. I mean, everybody gets spammed.
Let's talk about what you mentioned yesterday about this trend that is happening a lot in kids, that where they entice them to send naked pictures.
Yes, technically or legally what that's called is child sexual abuse material. So if a kid takes a picture of themselves, that's creating child sexual abuse material. And if they send it, then they're sending child sexual abuse material or sending pornography. So what happens is there are bots and people that will start sending text to a kid, and they convince that kid to send a nude picture of themselves. They do that
over
all kinds of techniques.
Over time. You know, the first one, it's not like, hey, I'm naked, you get naked. It's like, it's a tease. And these predators will tease you and taunt you to get you to the most vulnerable place. And they sometimes take years grooming your child until they are fully groomed and ready to harvest.
And then when they take that photo, the child takes a photo of themselves and they send it to that person. That person now has blackmail that they will use against them. And they use that for extortion. They use that to get money out of them. They use it to get gaming cards. Or they'll use it to tell that kid that if you don't do what I say, I'm going to expose this to everybody in your school, everybody in your social media. So now you have to do what I say. And that leads to, unfortunately, there's an epidemic of teen suicide happening because of this. And this can, these chats can be happening through either a person that's doing it or an AI chatbot that's doing it. Or the chatbot preps somebody until they get to the point where they get that nude picture and then they send it to a person. It's just like you see sales departments do. These criminals and these predators are doing this just like a hyper efficient sales team. And they're doing it at a scale that we can't even fathom. And our children are not prepared for it. So contact us at reefcares.com. Call us at 512-521-8874 or 512-545-0525 to get Jackie, and we will help you get this program in your school, in your church, in your organization, in your university. This program works. There it is. This program works, and we want you to have access to it.
We are currently in 10 states, and we've trained about 20,000 people so far. And the reason our best customers are people that have tried it some other way. And sex traffickers love it more than anybody because they don't have to tell their own story over and over and over.
The people that wind up and do this training are people that have experience in this life or the industry, or it's happened to somebody in their family. And so they go to a classroom and they have to pour their heart out, and they're basically telling their story to a room full of people that aren't really paying attention. And they don't have the mindset for this thing because it's such a complicated emotional topic. So the people that have trafficking victims that have this experience, it is very dangerous for them to go and speak in front of the classroom because they can get injured by basically talking about their trauma. So what this headset allows them to do is they put the headset on everybody, then the people take the headsets off and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this happened to you. I'm so sorry." And so it changes their relationship in training. And it helps them stay trainers for longer and be able to do more work. So that's what we're here to do. We're going to provide tools to help people get better training.
Well, I wanted to say kudos to you because the VR business opportunities is big, and you could have taken that opportunity to anything else. I mean, a lot of the other options might be much more lucrative, but
they are.
Yeah, but yet you decided to go and push for these educational purposes, which is definitely, there you go.
Put some of our advertising on.
Yes, there you go. But anyway, it's important to know that this is one of the products that you have, but yet you also use VR capabilities for other things. Let's talk about that. What other things can be done with VR?
Well, virtual reality has the ability to put you anywhere in any situation. So people are using it to create training that is safe versus having to go do it yourself. So like if you wanted to do training, or police want to do training about shooting. So it's like you can actually do shooting training inside of VR. There's no guns that have to be shot or anything. The people that are in the airline industry want to show people how to paint an airplane. And it's very inexpensive to do it inside of a VR headset versus having to get the training tools out and things like that. So there's anything you can possibly imagine. Of course, then there's gaming and dragons and swords and all that kind of good stuff. But there are people that are learning how to use bulldozers and giant earth-moving equipment and things like that. So it can be trained inside of an air-conditioned room instead of having to be out there with, $60,000, $100,000, $200,000 machines moving around.
And just to be clear, we're not making any of that content.
Nope.
Our forthcoming content is going to be about, we are working with a huge team across the United States of indigenous people that service indigenous people in a wide variety of ways. Who are going to be working together to design something that helps all of the indigenous, no matter which kind of services they've come to seek at the places that are doing the training. We are working on a labor trafficking simulation. And the reason why each of the products takes a long time is because they are vetted and vetted and vetted. The script is sent. The script is sent to experts everywhere, to survivors, to people that will be using it in the future. It takes a long time. Writing the script is the difficult part, but then to fact check it and to take all of the feedback from the beginner users, the first adopters of any particular thing, the teams of people, experts all over the world that are helping us with each product to make sure that each product is the best it can be.
Yeah, we have, right now we work with therapists and counselors that are using this before they have sessions with their customers. And we've been asked if we can make one that teaches people about divorce. What does a divorce feel like for the husband or the wife or the children? So that a family can understand that it's not just a divorce, it's happening on every level.
So we're working with a therapist right now to develop the points that he would generally be addressing when he's speaking to someone that's going through a divorce.
I think that's a very important and much needed product, right? Yes, because a lot of people are going through divorces, and the kids are going through that part too, and it's definitely not an easy thing. Kudos to you, because all the projects that you mentioned are really like to help a really good cause. So I appreciate that. That's very nice of you. Well, if you want to learn more about what they do, just remember this is a website, the reefcares.org, right?
Reefcares.org. That's short for Radical Empathy Education Foundation.org. We are a registered nonprofit in the United States. We, as Jackie said, we have people in 10 different states that are doing this training. 20,000 people. We train everybody from 5-year-olds to 95-year-olds, and we're ready to help anybody.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure having you.
Thanks for having us.
Bye bye.